Welcome to Super-Duperville, a City Skylines build, Episode 0, The Intro! I am Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming, and I will be your host and commentator. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you'll find this build fun and interesting, and I hope to inspire you to expand on your creations and keep challenging yourselves. What we're going to be doing in this, my very first video series, is construct a functional and thriving metropolis on a map called Eden Valley from the Green Cities expansion. The goal of this will be to create a multiple small city cluster ensemble and expand our evil empire. Excuse me, I had a bit of a tickle there. I meant to say expand our glorious and very non-violent city out to 25 squares or a 5x5 grid. So what I have here is the Eden Valley map pasted into a PowerPoint presentation. Why PowerPoint? Because I love to play with Microsoft Office products, and it will easily show my overall plan quickly and much more easily than just doing a verbal explanation. Other than that, you'll come to realize very early on that I am a helpless and proud nerd, and I have no qualms about showing and telling other people about my geekness. So rise up, my nerdlings, and represent! Okay, enough of that. I borrowed this map layout from the Masticon City Skylines website. I love this website. It has great overhead shots of all the maps for all the expansions, as well as additional maps that show the additional resources on each map, which you'll see in a minute. It hasn't been updated for Sunset Harbor, but I hope to see that soon. There's a link down in the website, or there's a link for the website down in the description. So please check it out and show them some love over there. Give them some encouragement to update to the Sunset Harbor. So here's a map showing the full 25 square overview of the area in which we're going to be building. But we're going to come back to this a little bit more in detail later. I kind of want to show you some other things. And if you didn't already know, each 1x1 tile on the map is 240 by 240 units, or 1920 by 1920 meters is the conversion that they've made on a lot of websites. So that is 1.92 kilometers by 1.92 kilometers, meaning that it has an area of 3.7 square kilometers, which is about 1.4 square miles for my American brethren. The map we plan to build on is 5x5, so that's 92.2 square kilometers, or 35.6 square miles. The entire map itself, any typical map, can have a max size of 9x9, so you can see the two extra squares that's not shown here off to the left and right, but the top and bottom you can't see the extra two squares. A 9x9 map will equate to 298.6 square kilometers, or 115.3 square miles. That's pretty decent size, comparatively. Now, there are some things that don't line up with those kind of measurements, and it's weird, but it's a game, so whatever. So now that you have all this knowledge that you neither ask for nor care about, let's get into this. Of course, when we start a new game on any default map, we always start, custom maps may differ. They don't have to start in the middle, but we do. We always start out in the centermost square and then expand out from there. Here's where we will construct what is known as a battery. Okay, I call this my starting block. Okay, I envision the starting block to house close to around 10,000 people. It's going to be built in a strict grid pattern, no frills, no thrills, no bells, whistles. The batteries, the quote-unquote battery, its sole purpose is to generate money and get us through the first few milestones as quickly as possible, so that certain things like landscaping, public transportation systems, additional resources can become available before we start going into our first big expansion. I've chosen to do it like this because I've seen it done on some YouTube channels, and I think it's a very successful starting approach, and it generates money, and it starts getting that money flow coming in, and it gets you past that first couple big hurdles that you're struggling to do things, and that's not what I'm trying to show you here to struggle. I want to present a nice big city with some unique challenges throughout it. So, and we'll go through what we're talking about, what I'm talking about. So eventually this area will go away and the people will be, let's say, transported to other cities. Basically, I'm going to level the damn area and lose 10,000 people of my population. Hopefully they decide to move back into another city that has available housing for them. So next up, here's a map that shows the resources that are available on the Eden Valley map. We will, well, quite literally tap into these resource points and perhaps even make more. You know, you got ore down here in the mountains, and in the mountains over here you got oil up here in the north. The yellow is fertile farmland, and then you have all the green is of course forestry, that you can do forestry industries and so forth like that. So just wanted to show this for comparison. The next one shows the height of the overall terrain for this map. And this detail is what really attracted me to this map in the first place. The large flat areas that they give us to work in really will provide a low need for terraforming across the entire map. I've gotten into some maps that, you know, and it is the case in this one that the starting area does have some mountain range here. You can see some elevation lines here that it goes up, and then the steep elevation for the actual mountain. But the heightened clusters of the mountains are going to serve a purpose for builds that we're going to do in these two anyway. These are outside of our 25 square cluster that we're going to have. So just want to show you the map terrain. It's nice and flat. I like it. Now it's going to cause some problems perhaps in natural disasters, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This map shows the wind speeds that go across the map. It's important for keeping this in mind because some operations I want to try and keep as green as possible. I'm going to have an industrial section that is creating all kinds of pollution and smog and poison in the ground and the air around it, but I'm trying to isolate those areas, and for the most part I'd like most of my cities to be as green as possible. Therefore, what that means is I need to take advantage of wind power and solar power and stuff like that. So we'll get into all that. That's fun stuff. And this last map, it shows the waterways themselves. It's very hard to see from the overhead shot, but the river does flow from the northwest to southeast, I'll call it, even though it goes straight south here. This is the flow of the river. So that's, of course, important to know where to put your sewer lines, where to put your water intake, where to put your sewer. Make sure your sewer is downriver from your water intake, or else your people get a bunch of literally crap in their water. So the larger lakes themselves don't have much in the way of water flow, and since they're outside of our build area and the build grid anyways, they won't really matter all that much, other than seeing points in which possible tsunamis can occur. And that's what I'm talking about with the natural disasters. Our borderline, you can barely see it here, our borderline comes right down here. So if a tsunami hits out here in the lake, it can come across, it'll get dissipated some by these mountains here, but this is all fairly flat land. If you look back on the terrain map, this is fairly flat land. So when a tsunami comes in here and hits, you can see the ring elevations here, but it's going to hit and it can wipe out everything in this area if it flows right through. This one I'm not worried about so much. We got a very good natural mountain range over here, but the same thing in the north. If a tsunami hits out here and that big water wave comes tumbling in towards the land, it's going to wash right across. So, I mean, these are challenges that I want to put in place and see what I can do to maybe help mitigate that kind of stuff. So that's the waterway map. So let's return to the overshot of our 25 tile grid that we're going to be building on and go over what I've laid out in my mind as a strategy. I'll put that in quotes, air quotes. I'm making air quotes with my fingers. For how to tackle this whole city. I like to plan things out. I don't like going in blind. I think you make a lot more mistakes. But I'm not planning this down to the sixth decimal point, the nth variable, whatever term you want to use. The creativity is still going to be present when we're developing each area, but at least for this city build, I want to see some various mini cluster cities strewn about the map, each presenting its own set of challenges to overcome. And eventually it'll flow into this nice big metropolis that'll be cool and functional and hopefully operational, and I use functional and operational in two different meanings. So, okay, so although this start is planned, and I may have spent some time in Excel laying out some details, because again, I'm an Excel nerd. I love playing in Excel. So I may have laid out some details for the first, we'll call it a couple cities. I probably went further than that. I am neither locked into or intend to strictly follow my own details. Okay, I don't want to build under a strict guideline. I want my imagination to wander. I want feedback from the people watching my videos, you guys, on where we should go and how we should do the next area with the generalized overlay in which I'm about to share with you. But before we go any further, I need to explain something. I now have every expansion, including Sunset Harbor. And I plan to use all these assets and special buildings somehow from the rest of all the expansions in this build. You see, my first round of builds was last year, mid-last year, and it was with the vanilla City Skylines game. No expansions whatsoever. I built that area up to about 137,000 people fairly successfully. Had some pretty big death waves and some setbacks. I had tons of challenges that I tried to get through. Made all the typical noob mistakes. But it was with no expansions at all. So this is going to be my first build with all the additional expansions that I've picked up. Starting from last year on Black Friday until last weekend when I got Sunset Harbor. And I'm like, okay, it's time to kick this sucker into gear. So please don't expect me to be some uber expert at city building. Okay, I'm not. I cannot compare with some of these guys I watch on YouTube. They are amazing. They're really good. They have tons and tons of experience and knowledge behind them. I don't. I'm going to stumble through the expansions and have to teach myself all the intricacies, like of how industries work. You know, I've never done anything with industries other than the 4 basic industries you get, which I just showed you of the resources on the map, and how having certain unique buildings help me further down the line, all that kind of stuff, you know. I'm actually really nervous about doing all this on camera because I know I'm going to completely look like a noob from time to time, but that challenge adds a level of excitement for me as well, so we'll see. So enough farting around, as my father would have said. Let's get to this. So as mentioned before, the starting square, I just kind of left my mouse, I'm flailing my hands around here talking. So the starting square is going to be used solely to get us rolling down the track. The only semi-cheat that I will access is the Purchase This mod. And the Purchase This mod, what it allows is the ability to purchase any of these 25 squares. Normally, every other milestone you hit up to Megalopolis unlocks an additional square that you can add. And the idea was originally to get you to 9 squares by the top tier level, which I think was 80,000 people in Megalopolis. I still almost said that word wrong. But now, at Megalopolis, you can unlock all 25 squares. So what this mod does is it allows you right from the press of unpause and go, you can start purchasing whatever blocks you want. I can purchase this one first if I want. Okay, and the costs are there. So there is some balance to this in that I still have to pay for what I would normally buy anyway. It's just that I am able to snatch up the real estate a little bit earlier. And you're going to see from the first thing that I put in here, I need to purchase these 4 blocks. And I can't wait until a later milestone to do that. So anyway, to that end, so after we get up to about 10,000 people in the starting block, we're going to be building our first city area / challenge, if you will. And it is called Stewtopia. Now, why is it called Stewtopia? Because my last name happens to be Stewart. I'm Scottish. Deal with it. You want to fight about it? Hey, no, I'm just kidding. But I just wanted Stewtopia. So there it is. 40,000 people is what we're going to guess that this area is probably going to hold. And it's going to be a circular city, as it indicates here with the circle. Okay, it's going to be rings inside of rings inside of rings. I will have main legs. I just put up air quotes again for legs. Main legs running through the city at diagonals and north, south, east, west in the diagonal patterns. that allow assist with the flow of traffic to move in and out of the city. It'll only have metro and monorail as its public transportation options. So these are the kind of things I'm putting limits on the cities. I'm putting, just so that it can't just pour everything into it, But this city should be able to house about 40,000 people when it's full. Next up, we will move up to the top coastline and construct a harbor area to allow ships to deliver all the supplies we need. This sexy port will be aptly named Shippendales, as you've seen on the screen. I kind of clicked it in early. I should have waited. It will only house about 5,000 people on the outskirts along the water, but it will have a nice and functional truck queue line. Okay, so I'm going to be running the truck queue line to the harbor area that's going to be right up here. You're going to see that in just a second. There will be no public transportation here, as it only houses about 5,000 people. Okay, so next, at the same time, basically, we're developing the harbor terminal. We're going to institute a lockdown on all incoming trains for both cargo and passenger / tourist. So along the top here, you can see, you can't see it, but I'm kind of drawing with my mouse here the train line as it comes through. You can kind of see the clearing in which it had. So the train line is running through here on the map itself. Okay, so when it comes in from the east here, we're going to chop it off. We're going to stop the train line and we're going to put in a cargo depot. We're going to put in a passenger depot over here. And what I have found and why I'm doing this is because by allowing trains to come into your city and travel all over, it causes trouble. I don't know how else to put it. It causes backups. It causes inconsistencies. By having them drop off all their cargo here and load it up on another cargo terminal, and then that is strictly your intercity terminal. And believe me, I realize you can click on a terminal and say allow intercity travel, but I just rather cut it off completely. So I know that everything's going to stop here from coming from the outside map. So if there was some issue coming in from the edge of the map here for the trains and they start backing up, doesn't affect my life inside the city. It just affects that little port right there. And I'll figure that out and be able to fix it. So it forces them to unload their cargo and passengers here. Then I can provide the secondary train that immediately helps distribute the cargo all over the city and people to more specific places, like we have right here with Stutopia. And it does so in lower quantities. And some people might think, well, how does that help? But it does. I don't know how to explain it. It just does. So as you see on the screen, the representation for these cargo points are going to be little equal signs. And one is orange, and that's for cargo. And one is blue, and that's for passengers. So that's kind of how I separate it. But you may notice up here in Shippendales, you can barely see it there. There is a little equal sign up there. It is double orange, and that means that only cargo is going to come into this point. Even if there is a boat route that's up in this lake, and I'm assuming there's a boat route down in this lake. You know what? I have not checked on that. I got to check on that and make sure I do have boat routes here. I'm assuming there is a boat route here and up here at least. Out here, maybe not. But I will just make this a cargo route, so just cargo ships come in here. And then down here will be the cruise ships and the passenger ships that come in. So just so you know. So this one's orange. So this is the Northern Railroad cutoff point. And then you'll start seeing by the cities here, as I build them, you'll see me put in this point on some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. Meaning that this is going to be a drop-off point. So the cargo will come in here and it'll shoot over on the rail line, wherever I put the rail line. And it'll stop here and drop off for Stutopia. It'll save trucks being on the road. It'll save traffic in general. So that's the purpose behind that. So our next city is going to be located in the upper right northeast corner up here. And it's going to be called Positiveville. Hey, look at that. So we started with a circular city. Now we're going to make a square city. Now I know it says Positiveville, and I named it that because it's super cryptic now. It looks like a plus sign. So, yes, I know it looks like an overall plus sign, but within here are basically, these are squares, overlapping squares that come in and formulate the city. So this is going to be a city of squares. So we got circle city, we got square city. Are you seeing a theme? I'll let you think about that for a second. There's a theme. Okay, so So what I imagine for this one is that I will have a north, south, east, west highway running through the center of it. That'll be its main roads, and I'll probably elevate that, and that too also makes a plus sign. How does that work out, eh? And that'll be elevated above the main roads of the city, and then the city itself will all be square. Everything's made up to be a square, okay? Public transportation for this area is just going to be an underground metro system, which will probably not be square, because I'll probably actually have it traveling to 4 points around here, maybe a loop that swings into the middle at some point. But, you know, I'll add in the cargo passenger hub. Okay, that one's there for that city, right? So now we're going to move into the mountains. So that's 1, that's 2. You got 40,000 here, you got 25,000 here. We're going to move into this little mountain cluster next and build a little city here. So we have a nice group of cities here starting to generate some money. Maybe they're feeding people back and forth for jobs between the cities and so forth like that. The next one's going to be called Spaghetti Hills. All right, so Spaghetti Hills. I know, I'm crazy with these names, but what the hell. I was going to go with Spaghetti-O Hills because I love SpaghettiOs. It's an American treat. It's made by Chef Boyardee. It's absolutely terrible for you, and it is so, so delicious. And, you know, so yeah. But there's no roundabouts up here in these hills. There ain't no roundabouts up in them there hills. Yeah, we had to throw that idea out. So we're just going to go Spaghetti Hills. Why Spaghetti Hills? Well, there are no straight roads in this mountain range. It's going to loop through. It's probably have a big main road that loops through and goes over the hills and climbs up the mountain, comes out the other end here. And I'll probably add a leg over here and maybe a leg down here that feeds into whatever the hell I'm putting down here. Okay, there's going to be about 10,000 people here. There will be no industry, and the main public transport will be buses. So we got metro here, metro monorail here. We have metro here, and now we got buses in the hill. We got hill buses. So I may build a cable car / gondola. Something tells me that there is a gondola or sky car. I don't know, different parts of the world call it different things. But I may make it come down the mountain somewhere if there is such a public transport system, or I can download it as an asset, and there is a gondola transport system we can put into place. I will probably use something like that, maybe from the middle of town and have it come down. I keep pointing to the center square, but I don't know where it's going to go. But, you know, and last but not least, to keep in the spirit of spaghetti, I know we're in mountains here. It's going to look like a mountain of spaghetti, right? That's the idea. But I'm going to put some humongous boulders down, and the boulders should represent what? Meatballs. That's right. Yay, imagination. Hooray. Okay. I know, I'm a weirdo. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will draw your attention to the lower area of the map, you will see appear before your very eyes a road. Ooh, ah. Okay, so next up in our journey is to connect the existing highway system that travels north-south along the west side of the map, this one over here, and the east-west route. So, I mean, we had these going along this side of the map, nothing to get down here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to slap down a road here that's going to go along the inside of the mountain range on the east side, curve around towards the water, come across here, and then dip down underneath this mountain set and come up over here and connect into the highway. So just another way of getting us around the city. Luckily, I don't know, luckily or unluckily, I don't know which, this is the only rail line that was existing up here. So when I take all this rail line out, there is no other rail line down here to my knowledge. I have not seen one, and I don't believe that there will be one, but we'll see. So now that we have highway access to this lower area, we're going to move and get things started to be set up down here. We want to connect into this touristy travel because, you know, I mean, people are going to be dying to get into Spaghetti Hills, Utopia, and Positiveville. Who wouldn't want to come here? Come on! So, so we're going to put a little coastline, and it's going to be called Super-Duper Bay! Yes, I'm original. I mean, what the hell? This is Super-Duperville. You got to have a Super-Duper Bay, right? And, you know, maybe there may be other Super-Duper themed areas. I don't know. Wink. So I originally called this area Awesome Sauce Bay because, I mean, it is awesome saucy. Look at it. It's kind of awesome saucy, and I love that name, faux show. But Super Duper Bay is going to follow another geometric shape requirement. What do you think it could be? What is that? Who knows their geometry? So from initial planning, there was no way, and I kind of just jumped into this area and said, how can I lay this out using this geometric shape? So at least not that I can see. There's no way that I can install roads and have a grid system strictly made of parallelograms. 10 points if you got that right. So to aid this slightly, I made a rule for this area, and I said, you know what? Yes, it needs to be a rectangular type shape, but not a rectangle with even with 90-degree corners. It either has to be a parallelogram or a trapezoid. Okay, so trapezoids are like a parallelogram. They have a long bottom leg and two concaving inward sides and a small top. Okay, and if you look at that kind of a shape, and then you line up a parallelogram next to it, it will fit in with each other a little bit better, and that's why I chose that. No other reason, no real big, deep theory there, just something to help along with that. So, you know. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Oh, yeah. So we're talking about the trapezoids. So I think this will allow the roads to merge together better, it not just be ugly and chaotic, because when I put the parallelogram roads in and stuff like that, it was a horrible looking city, honest to God. Not that this is going to be that much better, but I think I can make it cool. We'll see. I don't know. So this is going to have the cruise ship line that comes in here. You can see the double blue cruise ship that's here. I did not put up a cargo point for this area. Another one will be popping in here. I'm thinking the next one, matter of fact. So since we have our geometric city going, why not continue this? So the next one is Kaleidoscopia. So on the surface, this may just look like an octagon city, just like Stutopia. And to an extent, you might be right. However, to add challenge to this city, what I did is I took, I didn't take it, I'm planning to, every ring that I go in on this city, I'm going to turn it by 45 degrees. Okay, so what that does is it changes the road design, so you don't have any straight throughs. I mean, you come in here, you got to go up to the next road, come in here, come back, go up. You got to weasel your way across this city. Okay, there is no straight in and out. You know, all roads are going to be two-way, which can cause traffic woes, right? Buses are going to be the only form of transportation down here. Did I talk about Super Duper Bay transportation? I didn't. No, I did not. To back up just a sec, Super Duper Bay is going to have our first tram line. So that's going to be our first tram system inside of Super Duper Bay. In equal challenge, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. So, but Kaleidoscopia will only have buses. So when you look, and the reason I called it Kaleidoscopia, it doesn't look obvious from here, but in my thought, and when I started kind of twisting things around and putting them at a 45 and saying, oh my God, that looks cool, what it ended up being is that it ended up getting this pattern to it that kind of looked like it was going in and in and in and in and in, kind of like this circle-y thing, but it has an effect that looks like a kaleidoscope. I don't know how else to put it. And when you start putting down the colors of the grids of the different zones that we're going to put in the area, it's really going to look kind of kaleidoscope-y, Kaleidoscopia. So anyway, so after Kaleidoscopia, we really need to commit to some industry. Okay, we gotta get into there. You know what I mean? Therefore, forthwith, and hereunto I present Industryland. Yes, Industryland, where your hopes and dreams die in a plume of smog and irradiated groundwater. Come reserve your funeral plot today. Yeah, so anyway, gotta have fun with this, right? So I hope to develop this area with about 5 to 7 industry types to allow people from many of the surrounding cities that are going to be here to funnel to here to come to work. Okay, the way I have this broken apart is that there should be, like I said, 5 to 7 areas with a waterway area as well. So there's going to be cargo and passenger hubs located on both sides, like you see here. Oh, and if you didn't notice, when I dropped in Kaleidoscopia, this one popped in for both these. It'll feed both of these. But since this is so heavily industrial, I gotta give these guys a port to get the stuff out of the city and not drive everything out of the city by truck. I really want them to come to the cargo points. I'm going to make that a very enticing location to go to. And so hopefully all the trucks will go there, drop off their cargo, and then it can be distributed around the city or come out here to go to the port to be sent out. Or shoot over, up here to this port to go out and just go out of the city, and because we're exporting goods, hopefully. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So, excuse me. So the inner city is going to have 2 types of public transport. It'll have underground metros that'll run probably little north-south loops or something like that. And it too will have above-ground tram lines. So this is my second tram city. And my 1, 2, 3, 4? No, third metro and second tram city. So that's pretty good. Let's see here. I will probably use the river for some fishing harbors, but I'm unsure if I'm going to expand that into a full fishing industry or not. It will have, obviously, industry and municipal buildings and low-density commercial buildings, but no residents, and that's the challenge. I'm only saying 5K people here, but honestly, I don't know as if anybody's going to live here. This may have 0 people, like actual living in industry land. I totally forgot. I talked about fishing on the river here, but Super-Duper Bay is going to have a nice little industry section itself that is going to be focused on fishing industry and getting out here, because this deep water and stuff. And I think I can set it. I think I have a mod that I can set to go outside of my grid into the deeper area of the water. And I may not need to. This might be deep enough. I don't know. To go out, and I think you get different types of fish from my understanding. It's very vague. I have not looked into this deeply, but my understanding is different levels of depths of water provide you different fish that you catch when you send out fishing boats. There. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. So next up, we have the biggest expansion of all. Megaopolis! Yes, that is a misspelling and a mispronunciation. And I know it's the 80,000 mark. I'm pretty darn sure this is the milestone for Megalopolis. See, I still have trouble saying it. But for the first, 30 times, and almost continuing even today, I tried to say Megaopolis. It came out of my mouth as Megalopolis. So now the name's stuck. It's embedded in our city and into your mind. So you're welcome. This massive city is going to house around 60,000 people. I mean, look at this puppy. It's going to span 2 tiles in width. So that is 480 units wide. And it's going to span almost 3/4 of a tile tall. So that is, what the hell is this? Oh, it's 240. So it's oh my God, I can do math. Really, I can do it. It's 180. Yes, 180 units tall. So, God, I'm questioning even that now. My math. Great. Good stuff, Mike. Good stuff. It's going to be a rectangular city. So here's our rectangular city. Okay, everything's going to be a rectangle within the grid, and that is exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a heavy, gridded city. It's going to have a thick downtown area with high density stuff, and it's going to have 2 main roads that come through the city, east-west probably. It'll have north-south entries, but it's going to have tons of roads going every which way. It's going to be a solid grid city. And yeah, and the reason is the more roads, the better to allow people to get around. I don't know, is my thought process. There's going to be metro underground, and this is going to be the first city that we implement taxis in. I have never even seen anybody that I even watch on YouTube use taxis. So I'm going for it, man. What the hell? Why not? Right? So now it's time for what I have dubbed the 9s. So I've dubbed it because this has multiple small builds involved. So as you see here popping on the screen, you got two Super Duper college campuses. So you got Super Duper State College down here, SDSC. And up here you have the University of Super-Duperville, which is a UOSD. Okay, in the middle here, where our starting block was, remember that starting block that I decimated 10,000 people in a single wipe? Because I'm awesome like that. It is going to be transformed, and what we're going to go after here is a place called Super-Duper World. Yep, that's right, people. We're going to be building an amusement park. It's going to be an amusement park / central terminal, or transport hub if you want, whatever you want to call it. Smack dab in the middle of our city. Look at that, right in the middle. Everybody can get to this thing from all around the city. That's what we want. There's going to be rides. There's going to be trains, hot dogs, blimps. There's going to be animals, buses, roller coasters, gondolas, hopefully, if they exist out there. You know, we'll have water pools or water park things. I don't know. Helicopters. It's going to have it all. It's going to have a ferry line. And we're just about to do that. Because next up is the ferry line we're going to put in here. Okay, that runs up and down this river. You know, and this allows it to connect into every single one of these points, including our central hub, so that we can, you know, have people travel around. Oh, I totally forgot about the very important and prestigious Super Duper International Airport and Coffee House. I almost messed that up. Yeah, so we're going to have our international airport up here. I know Sunset Harbor has this massive international airport, and I'm excited to plop this sucker down. And, oh, damn it, I forgot his name. I was going to try and remember his name. There is a YouTuber, okay, that builds, at least I've seen him do 2 of them, to my knowledge, or maybe it's the same one and I just watched 2 different episodes and it was that amazing that I thought it was 2 different ones. He built this airport, and I mean, it is a functional airport. I mean, people roll into a 4 to 6 lane drop-off area, and they drop people off, and they get out of the cars, and they go inside and go into the airport. He has elevators outside the airport, and just all these lanes and all these roads that are intertwining and doing different stuff, and transports coming in and dropping people off by train and by tram and by metro, and I was like, I'm blown away. You're not going to get that here. Don't expect that. I'll throw some trees and I'll try to make it look nice, and I'll try to make it not just look plain Jane airport. There you go. But you know, I don't have that level of skill set to do that just yet. But yeah. So we talked about our little ferry line here. So I know you're having trouble containing your excitement so far. I know this is really good stuff. This is good quality YouTube-y kind of video stuff. But this is where things really start to get interesting. The next town we have on our list will be a little piece of crap called Winchester. Now, this little maggot is my nemesis. The one road town. Yes, people, we are doing it. Okay? As you might surmise from my very chosen words, this place is a serious pain in the ass for me. I've tried it on different occasions, either as part of my former cities or all alone just on a challenge build itself. I've yet to be successful, but what the hell, let's have at it again. Why not? This time, in difference from past, this time we're going to have a 4-lane, 2-lane, 2-way road, okay, throughout the entire thing. There's going to be buses to help ferry people from one end of the road to the other end of the road and turn around and come back. There's going to be pedestrian crosswalks, and this is the key factor I haven't done before. Pedestrian crosswalks, and I don't know if this is going to be utilized by the computer AI as a cheat, in that so we're coming in at the top of the city here, and try and follow my mouse along here. And they're coming in and they're driving into the city, and they get out of their car and they go across a little pedestrian crosswalk to the other side of the road. Get back in their car, and then they drive right out of the city. That to me is kind of a cheat. I kind of want to force them to go all the way into the city, turn around, and have to come back. And I hope that crosswalk doesn't allow. Now, if they go across the crosswalk and into a business, or get on a bus, or something along that lines, I don't look as that as much of a cheat as them just trying to get to their location where they want to go. But who knows? So, but what it will have is it will have a little tiny roundabout here at the front and a little tiny roundabout that at the very end of the road. The purpose for that is not to create any kind of cheat. It's so that my buses can turn around. I could have made it just go to a straight end road and make the buses turn around there, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna put a roundabout here. But if you try to reconnect that bus route back into here, I would have to send it to another city and turn around in that city and come back out and come back in here. So I'm just putting a tiny little roundabout at the front. It's before I start my one-way road, or my one road challenge. So we'll see. Anyway, I don't know. I only anticipate about 15,000 people here, so not a ton. It's kind of a light build after doing this monstrosity and this monstrosity. I mean, I'm still going to be filling these in, and I should point that out. I'm not building Stutopia to 40,000 people and then moving on. I'm building Stutopia up, and when the roads are all in place and the general municipalities are in place, and when I talk municipalities, I'm talking police, fire, healthcare, death care, elder care, child care, trash, schools, all that stuff. You know, crematoriums, you know, well, that's part of death care, but you know, all that stuff. Parks is part of municipalities. So that's what I'm saying. I got all those clustered into that group heading. But when I get that all set up, I was making a lot of gestures with my hands there. That's why the mouse stopped. Once everything's set up, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to start building up this area. I'll probably be over in Positiveville, maybe even into Spaghetti Hills before Stutopia fills up. You know, and I'm laying out the structure for these cities, and I'm getting the roads in place and doing stuff like that, and I'm starting to build things up while this continues to fill. And then it's going to finally be filled, and I'm going to have to go back to it and do tweaking and clean things up and pedestrian walkways, all that kind of good stuff, right? So please understand that I'm not building this up to 60,000 people and then moving on, and this is a nice easy one because it's 15. I just wanted a lighter build area while these take time to backfill and get everything in place, especially feeding industry land with their necessary stuff. So after our little Winchester experiment, we'll call it, the next section is going to be a quaint little rich area called Eden Shore that's going to go along the north shoreline here. Okay, this is Eden Valley map. I wanted to give a little bit of a nod to the map name. So we're calling it Eden Shore. It's a luxury living community. It's going to have about 5,000 people. Okay. It's a high class, you know, area. It's only going to have helicopters and blimps as their highfalutin form of public transportation. You know, so they're going to take a plane from here to here and take a plane over here. I'll make little airports. I think, if I remember right, Sunset Harbor has like a tiny airport strip that you can put in and kind of place around as a form of public transportation. It doesn't hold that many, and this big ass airport has like a couple helipads built in, so that people can take helicopters around the city. So yeah. Yes, Buffy and I are going to go on the helicopter and fly on down to Winchester and check out how the peasants live. Right? I mean, it's going to be something like that, right? Just silly little things. I almost forgot. Do I sound so excited? I am excited. Eden Shore, it's obviously you have the shoreline, which is really ritzy, but I'm going to actually put a few, 3, 5 inland lakes into here. And why not? You're rich. You want to live on the water. So you live on like this little man-made lake that I throw in here, right? And I'm going to put in a freaking golf course inside of Eden Shore. There's going to be an Eden Shore golf club, yo. That's what I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. All right. So... And now I saw a golf course asset on the Steam Workshop, and I have no idea if it's a functional golf course that people actually walk hole to hole, or if you have to kind of set it up in a park life setting in which you draw a park and you kind of slap these Rico buildings down and you can maybe set up 9 or 18 holes as a golf course. If that's the case, fine, I'll make it a park. You got to pay to get in. All these little rich bastards are going to have to pay, you know, $20 or more if I can do it to get into the golf course. And, you know, I'll put little drink stands and little bathrooms and a coffee shop or, you know, something like that lines. We'll figure it out. But I'm sorry, I got way more excited there than I should have. But so from Eden Shore, a couple light builder areas, and while we're still building our campuses and building up the cities, blah blah blah, we're gonna jump over to this area and fill in this. This is gonna be a nice little cleverly named area called Roundaboutburg, and it's another challenge city, kind of like Winchester, but not as hard as Winchester. Winchester is definitely more difficult than this. So all roads in this town are two-way. The roundabouts are one-way. There's going to be a combination of 6-lane roads like around the outside, 4-lane roads for main roads inward, and 2-lane roads filling out everything else. But all roads must connect to a roundabout. No road will connect to another road. No road will have a curve in it. They're all straight roads that connect to another roundabout. That's the challenge, right? Parking is going to be allowed on all roads, including the roundabouts. Walking is going to be allowed across all roads, including the roundabouts. Public transport is going to consist of a monorail system around the main borders of the outside of the city, and then buses will shuttle people around the smattering. I'll smatter them around here, somewhere. And this should give us a good population, about 25,000 people. So, excuse me, I gotta take a drink. My mouth is very dry. A save game, sip of tea. That's what I was supposed to say there when I do that. In a great nod to Biffa. So that's Roundaboutburg. All roundabouts. Biffa, if you see this, my God, you got to see how many. You got to come in here and count how many damn roundabouts I put in this place. Okay, this is all about you, baby. All about you, baby. Okay, so the next and final geometric challenge will be an area off to the northwest part of the map in this little section here. Okay, it's currently, and I don't like the name of it, called Tri-Valley. I don't really like it, like I say, and I'm open to more clever descriptions for this segment. If people want to suggest a better name with a triangle kind of theme, please suggest it. I will absolutely be happy to change this sucker. Let's see here. So, I mean, we got time. Look at this. This is number 13. Lucky number 13. I mean, we got to build all this other crap up, right? So we got time before we have to get to Tri-Valley up here. Okay, so take your time, think about it, think if you can come up with something better. Okay, so as you would expect, this is a triangular town. Okay, the internal triangles do not need to be isosceles triangles, meaning that every edge is different, and each one of these is 60 degrees? Yeah, so each angle is 60 degrees in the corner. That's an isosceles triangle, I believe. And so they don't have to be that, but I did the general layout of the city in my mind and quickly in Excel for a couple different patterns of having isosceles triangles inside of triangles inside of triangles. However, when I started putting in crossroads, that's when that all went to pot. And I started to realize that I truly do have a challenge on my hands here. Because what this is going to do, although it's going to maybe house 40,000 people, it's going to be very dense in population because of all the roads. But the sheer magnitude is when you start drawing roads that come across this way and then come across this way and come across this way, in addition to the main roads that you've already put in, you end up with some of these massive intersections in here. Okay, we're talking 12 roads that converge at one point. It's crazy. So the only thing I can think to help mitigate having a 12-point intersection is to make all the roads one way. And that only cuts it by 50%. Okay, that's still 6 roads converging on an area. So I envision this city is going to be just chock full of timed traffic lights through Traffic Manager. Okay, Presidential Traffic Manager. I always stumble saying that whole word. So I don't even know if it can handle 6 roads. I hope the traffic lights can, because if not, oh crap, we are going to have a serious time trying to set priorities of what roads have what priority and who has to yield and who can go straight through. For the main part, I will have 3 legs coming into the city. I think this leg comes in, this leg on this side comes in, and as you kind of see with where I'm drawing, across here, and across here, it forms a triangle. Forms an inner triangle here, right? Oh, I'm sorry, it comes out this way. So it comes this way in, this way in, and this road is going to be coming out of the city. So those will be one way as well, larger roads. I'm guessing. I'm just saying this is kind of how I laid it out in my mind and a little bit on paper. So that's Tri-Valley, 40,000 people. Did I talk about public transportation? I don't think I did. For this one, what is our public transportation? Oh yeah, another one. Yeah, taxis only. I don't know if I like that. Gotta be so easy to put in a metro here, right? I mean, it almost makes sense to put in a metro system. Maybe we do metro, not taxis. Taxis I kind of see for a grid city, but this place, traffic's gonna be so bad to begin with. Why do I want to add to it with taxis? That's kind of stupid. I'm almost thinking, people, that we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to do metro, not taxis on this. So I'll make a note of that, and hopefully I'll remember. Yeah, anybody that knows me knows that I got a great memory. It's just short term. Ha! But I'm here all week, people. Tip your waitresses. Try the veal. Okay, so our second to last area is going to be a nice upscale, yuppie hipster community that we're going to put in here, and it's going to be called No Motorshire. So now this doesn't mean no cell phones. If you remember some commercials from, I believe it's the Japanese company Motorola, that called, they would say no moto, stuff like that. And I think they call their cell phones motos. I hope I'm not doing a racial stereotype there, but that's what I believe they call it. So it's not no cell phones, it's no motorized vehicles. Okay, finally got through that one. I might have to, there's going to be a big long beep through that whole thing, right? Okay, we'll just censor that out. So this seems to be the perfect time. Hell, we're this far into the map. It's about time we go for the no cars allowed challenge, right? We want the no car town. So it's going to come in along here. This is just what I've envisioned. The road's going to come in along here. It's going to be, this entire area is the city. A big road that comes in here and a huge ass parking lots. Maybe I put up parking structures, places for people to get out of their car. And then they can walk into the city. And tons of walking all around the city. Tons of pedestrian walk paths throughout. And then it will have little main roads that kind of shoot into the city. And these main roads will allow only SOS vehicles. And that includes fire, police, ambulance, death care. So your hearses. Geez, I couldn't think of the name of it for a second there. And finally, trash. So those 5 vehicles can enter the city because they got to be able to pick up the dead. They got to be able to answer to police calls. They got to go to fire, burn it, put out the fires. They got to pick up the sick and dead people, or the sick and dying people in the ambulances, and they need to pick up trash. So those vehicles have to be allowed into the city. I don't know of any mod that exists. If somebody knows of one that exists that allows people to travel on foot or a bike, like have like a little wagon, a pulling wagon with water in it for a fire truck. I don't know. I have no idea. Or a cop on a bicycle, right? I mean, if that exists, let me know, and I'll put in a police station out here and say only cops on bikes can come out of this police station and they can bike around the city, right? I'll do that if it's available. I don't think it's an asset that's out there. I haven't seen all the assets, but if somebody knows of one, let me know, because I'd really like to reduce the types of vehicles that come in here. What the hell? So, let's see here. What else about this place? There will be trucks allowed that come in a main leg here and can go north-south. Because north-south here is all my commercial buildings that I'm going to put right in the center of the city. It's going to have one road of just commercial buildings that feeds everybody else in the city. So the trucks have to be able to come in and get to those commercial buildings to pick up or drop off product. Well, we're not really producing anything out of the commercial building, so they're just going to be coming in to drop off product. So I got to have trucks that come in. This is going to be the only lane that they can come in. They can't travel anywhere else, just that one lane. If I could do it and make it work, I would totally put the commercial along the outside road here. And therefore the trucks got to come into that outside road and they still don't come in the city. Maybe I'll do that. That's a possibility. I like this. See, I'm thinking as I'm going along here, right? This is what we want. Some good, some good imagination, good fun. So finally, ladies and gentleworms, we have reached the last build. And I can't think of a finer way to complete this city. than to have a very prestigious, luxurious, better than the rest of you pitiful ants area called Grandiose View, smack dab in the top of the mountain range in the southwest region. This gated community will have all the amenities of high-class lifestyle expected by the rich and famous. There will be breathtaking views from every window in these mansion-sized homes, strategically placed throughout the mountainside. There would be caviar on the tables, champagne in the wine cellars, and a pool boy / girl on hand to make sure that no pesky leaves get into your crystal clear waters of your backyard pool. If that wasn't enough to whet your appetite for the better living, the area is host to the all-exclusive Grandiose View Ski Lodge Resort and Spa, nestled into the side of the mountain, providing only the best of ski slopes, relaxation techniques, and spa spoilings that one could ever want. Okay. That's about the best Robin Leach impression I can do. Sorry if it was terrible. Yeah, it just sounded like a British guy. Yeah, I'm sorry. So this little small population is going to have about 5,000 people spread throughout the mountains. You won't ever have to worry about looking at your neighbors and seeing their unsightly lawn, right? Because even though you're going to have roads that say, okay, you put residents all down this, I'm going to do it every like 4 or 5 spaces, maybe put in a little residence. And I'm going to try and Rico drop in. Same thing as up here. Rico drop into these luxury areas. There are mansion-sized buildings that you can download from the shop, which I think I'll go out and get those. So, anyway. So, there you have it. That's the plan, right? I'm super excited to get back in this game. I've taken a pretty good hiatus. Like I said, I played last summer. And I haven't played since last summer. Now we're into 2020 summer. Murder Hornet season, right? So I've wanted to get back into get back into gaming and get back into this game. But I've really wanted to start releasing some gaming videos. Why not? As you can tell, I'm a complete tard. I have no problem with that. I love it. I'm a complete goofball. I plan to do other video series as well. I'm just starting out with City Skylines. I mean, for crying out loud, my entire site is Dragon Rider Gaming, so you can imagine that I like to play dragon-type games. So Skyrim is on the list. I have not played Fallout 4. It's in my collection, so I may switch and do like a futuristic kind of one through Fallout 4. Wastelandy kind of nuclear apocalypse kind of game that is. I might go back in time, play something older. I don't know. And the goal with this one is to get a couple cities built and get something go along in this channel. Reach out to the people that might like this, you know. And anyway, so I even though I have dialed back on the number of mods I use, I'm still going to be using some of the big ones. Traffic Manager, the Son of Anarchy mods is what I call them, Sons of Anarchy mods. The graphic mods that help improve some of the watching experience. Some quality mods. I have a fairly decent rig. My computer is pretty beefy. It's pretty badass. You know, I got the 64 meg of RAM. I got the 8 gig video card. I got the i9 processors. I got the full size tower with water cooling and lots of fans and stuff like that. But it's not super duper beefy. See, I played words there. Yeah. It's not super beefy. It's not. It can't handle the 4K stuff. Is where I'm basically going with it. So I'm probably going to record in 2K. I'm probably going to record in 1950 by whatever the hell this is, 1080, 1950 by 1080. I have an ultra wide monitor, so I have a this sucker's big. It's 35-inch wide, so so I'll play the game in a reduced size because I think that shows up the best when you're doing videos, especially because most people don't have ultra wide TV screens or computer monitors. So I'm gonna capitulate for that. But some other. So I'm not gonna run high quality, like super high detail, high tri-count pixels and stuff. I'll have quality of life mods that simply help with the building processes. Excuse me, I take another drink. Like the its and that mods, like I talked about, purchase that earlier. Move it mod, show it, resize it, watch it, these kind of mods, right? And then I have some preference mods that I wanted to utilize, like American traffic lights, road signs, in which I'll use American road signs, and speed limits. I'll use American speed limits. So there's not going to be any super wacky or outlandish mods. I'm not using super cheap mods that, you know, you plop down this 2x2 school that houses 3,000 people. Okay, I'm not doing those ones. Those aren't going to be present here. I will have a full list of all the mods that I use in the video description with every episode. So, that said, I'm going to end this video with a shameless plug that every tuber does and ask that if you like this, smash the like button. If you hate it, gently press that dislike button, and please offer some feedback on what you didn't like about it. Okay, and of course, please feel free to subscribe to the channel for this and any other videos that I might start putting up here. My goal is to hopefully put up 1 video a week. If I can get to 2 videos a week, that's great, but I do have a full-time job. I don't do this full-time for a living. I have a full-time job. I've been back to work for 3 weeks now after the whole coronavirus stuff, and they've even actually delayed people coming back. Everybody was supposed to be back this coming Monday, and they've delayed that too. So, I mean, who knows when this is going to end. But finally, whether you like it or not, the thing I really want from you people is feedback on the video. The quality of the presentation, the audio level, the quality of the audio. If you agree that I'm a total tool, yeah, throw that up down there. I don't care. I love it. Please comment on things to do better, like stop saying so much, or simply declare your undying love, right, and loyalty to my quest. I truly do appreciate constructive criticism. I do. And I desire it greatly to help me improve on the videos that I put out, because ultimately you are the one that is going to watch the video. You're the one that wants to enjoy the video. So I want to make the video enjoyable for you. So until next time, this is Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming. And you know what? Here's a great spot for a clever outro. Take care, everybody.